Well, I'm the director at Centerville High School, choral director, and I'm the director of the high school a cappella group Forte. Forte basically came about when I first got the job there. There was a group of 18 members, and I kind of put that together into an a cappella group. And then if I go all the way back to the beginnings for myself, I went to the University of Kentucky, and I went to Winton Woods High School. So Winton Woods High School and then the University of Kentucky, and I was in the group that was on the sing-off. Of course, I'm an older, was in the earlier years of the acoustic cats from the University of Kentucky that were on the sing-off, and that really inspired me to be and do a cappella, and really got my love for it started. Dr. Jefferson Johnson was a great mentor, and I always loved working with the acoustic cats, and I know that I always, when I first started my jobs as an educator, I always brought the acoustic cats in to perform for all of my high school groups or middle school groups, wherever I was teaching. And from there, I decided that hey, I could just we could make this happen with the kids that I teach, and kind of took over from there. I went to Winton Woods High School growing up, and it was just a fantastic choral music program. David Bell and Robert Hartigan, two of my mentors and high school directors, were very inspirational in all of this. And I just remember going as a kid in high school and being in the musicals, but then going to contests for OMEA, which is the Ohio Music Educators Association contest. The judges, we'd go and we'd do the Moses Hogans and all that stuff, and we'd get standing ovation from the judges, which seemed to be unheard of. There were, and a lot of, kind of knew our group was special when all of the local choirs would always come in the audience to watch our group perform. So got an early start with that, and just really found the love for it. And I just remember that feeling when we performed, and just knowing like I really want to do this the rest of my life. And it was really cool. It was really powerful, and they were so passionate about what they did and what they do. Loved it to death, and just kind of inspired me to want to do the same thing and be able to do that same thing with students and continue on from there. So much say rehearsal techniques is that I have procedures and kind of ways that we go about each song and attack each song, and I'll kind of go through that process. Essentially, we have a Spotify playlist, and all of the kids throw songs in there, and we don't always choose the songs from those playlists, but that at least gives us a starting point, a conversational point to the songs that we might want to do. It kind of gives us the style that the kids like, which is great, and it kind of just gets the ball rolling, so to speak. Then once we figure out, or I decide which songs make the most sense for the strengths of the group, then we go ahead and start talking about arrangement, and then I'll get things arranged from like Rob Dietz or Ben Bram. We have had students in the group arrange in the past, but typically for at least our major stuff, we'll get those arranged by the best in the business. And after that happens, I always make sure that I get the finale file so that I can manipulate things if need be, if I need to adjust the arrangement or take things or add things. And then I also create learning tracks. Once I create those learning tracks for the group, we have a Dropbox folder in which every single member of the group is a part of that Dropbox folder, and all of the learning tracks, I'll create the MIDI file or the MP3 file of the soprano part, the alto part, the tenor part, and all of that stuff, put that into Dropbox, and then they're responsible for learning the parts on their own, so that when we come into rehearsal, the parts are learned and we can just make music. There's always some fine-tuning, there's always some things that need to happen in terms of, they learned a note wrong or they learned things wrong, but it at least gives us a basis for where to begin, and it really kickstarts things so that we don't have to just spend, the 5 days a week with me at the piano pounding out notes. There's always exceptions, there's always times when I have to do that, but it's kind of one of those things that's grown over the years. And then from there, what we will do is, once we've learned it and I've taken each song, and we've started to make it make sense, and we've gotten to the point where we can start to add the details of the piece. We'll start talking about the meaning of the piece, what does it mean to you, not just the meaning of the piece to the person that performed it originally. With us in particular, we really like to take songs and make them different from the original, so that I know that there are a lot of directors that like to listen to the original track a lot, the original versions, and I think that's great for a comparison basis, but with us, for example, we're doing a Coldplay song, Magic, right now, and it's just a totally different spin on Coldplay's version. And I don't particularly love that song, but I sometimes have to look at, and I love Coldplay, so, but I don't particularly love that song, their version of it, so we took it and made it something that we really like and stuff. So it's a fun process, and we do that, and then I think one of our strengths with the group, and one of the things that we really focus on with Forte, is taking a song and figuring out how we can make moments, create moments. Where are we going to go big? Where are we going to be soft? Where are we going to create these moments in the song that really get the audience move, or that really move the audience and really create a really cool effect, and something that the audience can take home and say, wow, that was really cool. So the complexities of copyright, it's an interesting world right now. Luckily, I have a good relationship with Michael Spresser. Luckily, I have a good relationship with Michael Spresser of Alfred Choral Music Publishing, and I can email him, and he can tell me, hey, Hal Leonard has the rights for this song. So and so has the rights for this song. So one of the ways that you can go about getting the rights for a song is you can pay for those rights, and then you have the right to arrange that song. Another way that we've been able to do it is if you buy the mechanical licenses through a company like Louder, then you have permission to arrange that song. So if you go ahead and record yourself singing a version of Magic or whatever, then you can go ahead and purchase the mechanical licenses through Louder, and then you can arrange that song as long as it's in the process of or going to be on your album, or whatever you're going to do with it. So as long as you have the right intentions, then you should be fine. So Louder does just the mechanical licenses. So you can go through like Hal Leonard or go through the publisher, but yeah, Louder just does the mechanical licenses. But if you purchase the mechanical licenses for a song, then you have the permission to arrange and record that song.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get that straight.
Yeah,
Okay, great.
yeah. Cool.
Where do you excel as an educator when you refer to a cappella music? What's your I'm at a loss for words here.
Oh, yeah.
What is your expertise?
So my expertise in a cappella, I think, comes with just my own personal love for it. I don't see this as a job, it's a passion for myself, and it's something that I've seen the power that it can have with the kids in the program, and it's something that I know that I felt when I was a kid, and I know that feeling, and I continue to have that feeling and continue to see other people have that. So I think my passion is probably my strongest suit. I tend to be the person that's still working, while, I'd rather than go out and hang out with friends. I'd rather go work and create something. Well, if I have downtime, I'm thinking about the next arrangement. So, I don't think that there's a certain thing or particular thing that I do that's like above and beyond, or that I know more about music than anybody else. I just think that when push comes to shove, if I get the opportunity or daylight comes for us to rehearse a little bit more, we're going to go rehearse a little bit more, and the kids are excited about that. And so I think, and maybe that's a part of building excitement and just our love for it. But I don't think there's a magic or a certain thing that I do better than anybody else. I just think that maybe sometimes I outwork certain people or a lot of people, and that's maybe the thing that is above and beyond what many people have. The Acapella Education Association is something that myself, J.D. Frizzell, and Brody McDonald created. We have a passion, maybe even a sickness for this stuff, and we love it, and we love helping people. Brody does all kinds of things, and has a festival that's the biggest festival in the country. Excuse me. So the Kettering Acapella Festival, or Kettering Acafest, is one of the biggest, brightest festivals in the country, and he helps. There's over 70 groups there last year, so if you get the chance, go to ketteringakafest.com and check that out. Through that, and through now JD Frizzell is putting on NAC, which is also through the Acapella Education Association, and that's the National Acapella Conference. And so all of us just had the idea of how can we help more people, and we know that there's OMEA, we know that there's ACDA, or well, I guess NAFME, and OMEA is the smaller bit of that, but we just always wanted to reach out to more people. It's not something that we get paid to do, it's just it's a love, it's a passion, it's something that we believe in, and we want to see this thing take off and continue to take off and continue to benefit people for many, many years to come. And so it's kind of like the ACDA, kind of like the NAFME, but it's for acapella. I think a lot of people are afraid to jump into acapella, and one of the things that I always think about is that Brody McDonald was a barbershopper, and he's one of my major influences as well. And he wasn't into acapella, or wasn't in an acapella group, and he found it and loved it and saw what it did for kids, and so he was able to do it and figure things out without ever having really been in a group of his own. And then we just had a passion, and you can go to acapellaeducators.com. Again, that's acapellaeducators.com, and you can become a member. The levels of membership are on the website, but for the cost of a monthly cup of coffee, you can join it, and it's an amazing community. Tons of people, tons of resources, networking that happens through it. You can figure out where One Voice is getting their arrangements, where 11th Hour is getting their arrangements, where Forte and all these other groups, and how they're doing things simply by getting involved and being a part of a deeper part of the community at large. And it's fun, and if you get the chance to in Memphis, Tennessee in April, check out the National Acapella Conference or Convention. All right, so Forte is one of 5 curricular classes at Centerville High School. I have concert choir, which is typically the freshmen or the younger kids. Then I have men's choir, which is the men, usually the younger and beginning men at the school. Women's choir, which is a little bit more intermediate to advanced women. And then I have symphonic choir, which is our kind of our top choir, so to speak. And then we have Forte, which is our top contemporary a cappella group. I also have 2 extracurricular a cappella groups. We have a girls group called Summit, and then I have a mixed group like Forte that's a little bit larger in size, about 18 to 20 members, whereas Forte is 14, and that is after school as well, and that is another a cappella group, and that's a great thing. So 5 curricular groups. With Forte, in class, I recommend that they are also members of our symphonic choir. They can't always do that with the scheduling and us having 6 periods a day. We have 7 periods, but it kind of ends out being 6 with the way that it all works out, which I won't go into details about. But and many times they end out making it work so that they can also be a part of symphonic choir. And Forte also does at the beginning of the year we do kind of a joint concert with all of the program, the entire program. And they fit into those pieces. So there's times when they're doing classical things and they're joining symphonic choir, and it's a great thing for them. And it's just it's a great motivator. Symphonic choir is a great group. It's a AA choir that's gotten the top ratings at contests and gone on to state each and every year. And then Forte, of course, won the ICHSA through varsity vocals in the Pitch Perfect competition this past year. So it's just a lot of fun.